Yo, what's good? It's me, your guy, all the way from Bed-Stuy, Habo, and this is the Art Block and Art Podcast, where I talk about all things revolving around art and the art world, the contemporary art space, and beyond. Controversy, hot topics, and just cool things I want to share with y'all. Today's episode is going to be about generative AI. It's going to be about artificial intelligence, specifically generative AI. I want to make that very clear. We have to learn the distinction between generative AI and everything else. There's different versions and different types. Generative AI is the stuff that you see all across the internet now, the videos, the pictures, the music, all of that stuff that sounds and looks the same and has that weird vibe to it. Generative AI, that's Suno, that's Midjourney, that's ChatGPT. On the other side of that, we have like regular AI. I don't know all the specific terms because I'm not a super techie guy. But like AI is in our phone, like GPS. We play video games. There's AI in that. You know what I'm saying? So we have to make a distinction and not just jump at something just because it says artificial intelligence. That's the problem that we have to kind of like resolve as soon as possible as far as trying to combat what's going on, right? And this is not, I'm not a doomsayer channel, right? I'm not a doom scrolling channel. So if you are fatalistic and nihilistic and all of that stuff, you gotta send that to the white people because we don't do that over here. That's what the white liberal artists be doing. And I say that specifically because I've seen so many white liberal artists get on the internet and just go full depressive mode, like crying and snot crying and just going berserk online. I think that needs to be examined and studied. Honestly, it's very weird. I'm not conservative. I don't want to use that as a pejorative, as I'm conservative. I'm not conservative, but I also wouldn't consider myself a liberal either. As I've been on this journey, politically and learning more about a lot of things that are happening within our country and around the world, I would align myself more on the radical side of things. Amanda Seales had this really great video explaining what Black radicalism was, and a lot of what she said and a lot of what she talked about and explained definitely resonated with me, especially now that I'm in different, I'm kind of aligning myself. I am aligned with different organizations that are very politically minded and active. So radical, Black radical specifically. So when I say white liberal, don't just automatically assume I'm conservative. I'm not. But let's get into this AI conversation. There's so much going on right now. We have the AI artist that got signed to $1 million deal. We've got the government official in Albania that's an AI, legit. We have AI art at conventions and art fairs, and just a general conversation of AI versus actual real human artists. You know, it seems to have infected so many minds, right? Especially my people, the kinfolk, Black people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to make a video about this at some point, maybe within the next week or two, because man, every time I get on Threads and make a post about AI, niggas just come out of the woodworks defending that joint. And then somebody try to call me out talking about, oh, you got a problem with Black people using it, but you don't call out the white folk. It's like, yo, if you don't know me, you know I call out everybody for it, because nobody should be using it to create at all. Because when you use that, you're not learning. This person said, oh, we're going to use that to level the playing field or something like that, some nonsense like that. And it's like, it's not going to level the playing field because you're not learning anything. I guarantee you the dudes that are real, the white dudes that are really advanced at this AI shit, they probably know other skills and techniques that if it were to go away, they still have the advantage. Off the rip, them being white gives them an advantage alone. So it's not leveling a playing field if you already are down low. That's not the right word I wanted to use, but you get what I'm saying. Because when you use generative AI, whether it's something visual arts related, whether it's music related or anything, design or whatever, you're not learning anything as far as like the techniques on how to draw or how to color or how to make a beat. You're not learning in color theory. You're not learning composition. You're not learning anatomy. You're not on the music side. You're not learning how different notes make a melody. Right? I'm not a musician, so I'm just talking about out my ass when it comes to that. But you're not progressing in your knowledge. You're just typing in a prompt. And don't get me wrong, I think learning how to or knowing how to type in a prompt to get something like exactly how you want it is in and of itself a skill, but that could be used for something else. You could be a writer. If you're that skilled at writing a prompt that can generate a whole music video that looks like a Studio Ghibli cartoon, then you could be a writer. Why waste your talents on that when you could have been working with you could have been working with an artist and say, hey, this is what I want. Can you animate this for me? Can you draw this for me? You know, like everything that's free isn't great. I'm not trying to sit here and say that free things are bad, but when it comes to this specific thing, come on, man. Come on. We have to realize that we live in a world, unfortunately, that is dominated by capitalism. And we do have to pay people when they are working for us, when they do things for us. And I'm trying to find the balance in this, right? It's I've been having conversations when it comes to this sort of thing because people are broke too, right? So we have to figure out, okay, how can we approach certain avenues without having to put ourselves as artists on the shit end of the stick. So I'm thinking like, oh, we can do a barter system, we can do a skill trade. It could be something, but anything but going to ChatGPT, anything but going to Suno, anything but using any of these generative AI technologies, because hello, everybody, generative AI doesn't come at no cost. It may be free for you to use, but it's also harming the planet. It's harming the environments that they're in. There's a town, was it Boxtown? Boxtown, is it? That's Tennessee, I believe. Boxtown, Tennessee, where Elon Musk has a full AI facility that's poisoning the land, air, and sea. We've talked about this in a previous episode. There's other places around the world where that's happening as well. And it's starting to look and feel like the shit that I've seen in Cyberpunk 2077. If anyone's ever played that, they have in Cyberpunk 2077, instead of having neighborhoods for people to live in, there's sections of Night City, the setting that you play in, where there's blocks, like full city blocks, just full of server farms that's polluting the area, which is insane. Like I remember playing one of the missions, and you're in a hotel and you look out on the street and there's just like city, like not miles, but like just full blocks, several dozens of blocks covered in technological gobbledygook, so that they can obviously run the technology they're using in this capacity, whatever it is for, whatever it's, if it's for like the internet, whether it's for AI, whatever the case may be. And that's where we're like low key heading. So when you say, oh, it ain't, there's a cost. It ain't going to cost me nothing, but there is a cost to the environment and cost to the planet. Now, if you have to use it for work specifically, because I know a lot of companies are doing that now, that's one thing. But just be conscious. If you have to use it for like specific work things, be conscious of how often you use it and what you use it for. Like, don't go into ChatGPT and be like, what's the weather today? You get what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy. You can just go to Google, or you can stick your head up outside, stick your hand out and be like, oh, it's kind of cold, It's just wild to me that so many people just don't want to pay artists. They say artists are too expensive, artists is that, and it's like, okay, for the average person, I can understand that. On that same note, there's probably a way to work that out, right? Now, if I find someone, if people come to me, and that's been a thing before, and I give them my rate for a children's book or it's an illustration or whatever the case may be, if they can't afford it, then we can do a payment plan. I've done that before. I've done a payment plan before. That's a thing you can do. Or you can lower your rate. Some people are willing to do that, An artist may lower your rate depending on what the project is or how they feel about you or if they trust you, I saw somebody commenting on my post about that, how they will do that for specific people, and that's understandable, right? But everybody needs to be paid. Artists deserve to be paid. I made a video about that already. I'm not going to get into that again. But when it comes to AI, artists versus AI, you should always be on the side of the human artist, because what's happening also, and I know this point has probably been reiterated across the internet, is that generative AI siphons from artists. It steals from existing artists to create the amalgamation of whatever you asked it to do. So if you remember, they had the Studio Ghibli meme, they had the Muppet thing, and there was like a few other ones that were basically generating very iconic styles. Where do you think that came from? It pulled from people. And then some of the stuff that you see that's quote unquote original also steals from artists. We've seen it proven that there will be watermarks or remnants of the original artist's work in that image. I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been an artist named Loish or Losh, Loish. That person's work was stolen, and their art style and aesthetic was stolen, and there was like a whole thing about that. There's a few other people, right? So again, it doesn't come for free. It comes at a cost. It's the theft of people's original style. It's the harm to the environment that people live in. And it's the destruction of just the sanctity of what art is. Art is about creativity. There's no creativity behind generative AI. There isn't. There isn't. And there's nobody on this planet that can change my mind. Y'all have to understand, like, to create comes from your soul. To create, it comes from your passion. Some people lose their passion. Some people lose that joy because, you know, again, a lot of people just kind of look at the business side of the art industry, and then they get wrapped up in that, and then, you know, eventually their work just falls off. You know, we've seen that happen too. It's like they just putting stuff out just to put stuff out. And granted, yeah, we have to pay the bills, but there's other ways, man. You can apply for grants. You can teach workshops if you're really good at what you do. You can sell prints of your work if you're a visual artist. You can sell beats if you're a music artist. You know what I'm saying? You can be hired out to do performances or do a mural. There's so many ways to generate income as an artist. Again, it's not easy. I've mentioned this before. It's not easy. It's not like you're going to wake up and start all these things and it's just going to come to you like that, like snap, snap, boom. But it's possible. But it shouldn't always be about like, oh, art is a business, art is a business, artists are business people. It's like, no, that's not what art is. That's not what this is about. At least not for for most people. Like, yes, do I want to make a sustainable income from what I create? Do I want to make a sustainable income from my practice? Absolutely. I think every artist should be able to do that. But do I want to do that at the cost of my integrity and my imagination and my soul? No. There's limits to it. Like, I'm still going to make what I want to make at the end of the day, right? I still want to make the comics I want to make. I still want to make the characters I want to make. I still want to put out the animations or anything that I do without anybody coming in and be like, oh, I'm paying you and you can't do this because I'm paying you. No. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. I know I'm slipping into a different conversation. We're going to bring it back to AI in a second, but this was something else that was on my mind, right? Because on Threads, you know, my favorite app on the planet besides TikTok, a lot of people went on this post that I will make a full video about. a lot of people commented on this post because I said I'm very ashamed to see Black artists using generative AI to promote, their events or use album covers or any other, typical thing you would see it for. And a lot of niggas came on my post defending it. A lot of people said art is a business. We got to think about X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, what do you like? When people say stuff like that, a few things come to mind. They're not where they are in their life. Their art doesn't reach the people they wanted to reach. Or they have made it and they just lost their mind in the process. It's usually the first two and not the latter. 9 times out of 10, there's always someone that probably did one art fair, art party. They probably did like a pancakes and booze, and now they're like, oh yeah, art is about you gotta make that money because there's competition out there, because you did it. It's like, all right, relax, fam. Relax. You did one or two things, you know what I'm saying, and now you think it's all about this. It's like, nah. What do you stand for? What is your art about? What does it mean? I don't want nobody coming and talking about, oh, it has no meaning. It don't have like everything means something. There's a reason behind things. There's a reason why things are created. There is. I personally believe that. At least the stuff that's really good. There's a purpose behind it. There's a story to tell. Even if you don't think there is, there certainly was. Even on basic stuff, you know what I'm saying? Anime nigga might come up in here and be like, Dragon Ball Z is just about niggas screaming and shooting light beams at each other. It's like, nah. Frieza's a fascist, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many things you can pull from any form of art, whether it's cartoons, whether it's comics, whether it's paintings, even just imagery you see around you in the world. There's a purpose behind it. And when you make AI generated art, you're just regurgitating just nonsense, gobbledygook, an amalgamation of nothing, noise, static. When you use generative AI, it screams to me that you were never allowed to embrace your creativity as a kid. You were never allowed to imagine. You lost touch with that. It's possible to get it back, but as an adult, it may be a little harder. And I think at the end of the day, I want to embrace those people because I want to bring them in and be like, hey, because wouldn't it be cool? Wouldn't it be cool if a group of us, like human artists, got together for like a series of workshops and we were like, hey, if you want to learn how to create, if you are that adamant about not hiring a human artist, why don't you learn? Let's try. And then we do workshops, different areas, different mediums, different parts of the industry, a whole series of workshops where you, at the end, you learn how to do something yourself. And maybe then, in that same note, people will understand what this shit all means. Maybe then people will understand why we're against AI. And they'll see the hard work, time, and effort that goes into everything that we do. Because when you're paying for an artist, a human artist, you're not paying just because you want a pretty picture or a cool sounding song or like a really dazzling costume. You're paying for years of blood, sweat, and tears, experience, trial and error, passion. That's what you're paying for. It's the same thing with traditional jobs, I guess you want to say, like, and that's still not a word I want to use, but plumber, electrician, carpenter, you're not paying just for the service, you're paying for that person's expertise. You can't go to Chat GPT and be like, Oh, what do you think about this? Is this going to give you what you want to hear? If you are in conversation with a real designer, character artist, costume maker, producer, music producer, whatever the case may be, there's going to be a conversation, a back and forth on what works and what doesn't work, what is cool and what's not cool. That's how this is supposed to go. The AI is just going to give you it mirrors you. It mirrors you. So it's not going to say, oh no, this is not bad. It's just going to say, okay, here's another version of this. Okay, here's another version of this. Okay, let's try that. It's not going to say, oh, my bad, I messed up. Let me try a different, you know what I'm saying? It's not going to do that. It's not. And that brings me to this whole thing with like, that's the reason why I made that post too, because it bothers me that there are organizations that I'm aware of, there are nonprofits, there are groups that are in the industry that will still use AI to promote their events. And if you're in the community, you know exactly who I'm talking about specifically right now. The big numero uno in all of this right now. Because I had originally planned to do a video exposing all of these art parties and whatnot, but Black Boy and Black Girl Art Show, they have used it. I don't know how long it's been, but I feel like it's been a couple of years now, or even a little bit more than that. They have utilized AI, generative AI, to promote their events, flyers, videos, posts, all sorts of stuff. And I think that spits in the face of every artist who's spent years, decades, their entire life dedicating themselves to this practice, whether it's painting or whatever the case may be. It spits in the face of everybody that's participating in that show, because that goes to show that you do not care about art. You are just looking at art as capital. That's not what it's about. Artists should be paid, but that's not the priority. Just like with medicine, the medical industry. The point of the medical industry is to heal people. It's not about money. Should all doctors and anyone in the medical industry be paid fairly for what they do? Absolutely. They're some of the hardest working people on this planet. But nobody gets into the medical industry that is a genuine human being and says, I'm doing this for the money. Because half these people don't even get paid that well. They sleep in the hospitals. Yo, people, when COVID had hit, that was a whole, I'm not even going to get too deep into that, but that was a whole chaotic experience. Because I had friends who were doctors and nurses, and they were telling me all the stuff they had to deal with. You get what I'm saying? And not to say that an artist making art is the same as, heart surgery. I'm just using as an example of a thankless job, right? Or a thankless environment where people are not getting paid fairly. Or people see it as this, I don't know. I hope you understand what I'm saying, right? I'm not trying to make it seem like artists are the most, prolific, higher than thou thing in the world. However, all I'm just saying is that we deserve to be paid, but also it's a duality to it. It shouldn't all be about the money. That's what I'm saying. Hopefully that made sense. This is off the cuff. Y'all know the art block is now off the cuff. This is not like pre-written or pre-recorded or nothing like that. This is all happening in real time. I'm recording this on Friday, the 26th at 8:48 a.m. right now, because I felt it in my spirit to get on before I headed out to the Brooklyn Museum for my birthday to talk about this. So when I see organizations that do this, AI posters, AI videos, all these characters and stuff, that says to me that you don't care. And you should not be running art shows. You should not be hosting any experience about the arts if the first thing you do is against the tenets and principles that we as human artists stand for. So shout outs to, I don't know what convention it was. There was some convention recently that banned somebody that had a booth and they kicked him out because he was using AI art. The fact that it got that far is crazy to begin with. The fact that there was no, I don't know what the process was to submit to this convention, but the fact that there was no kind of like barrier to check and see what his stuff was before he got that table is wild to begin with. That means either this technology is advancing too far to the point where it's even tricking the most trained eye, or we're just not prepared. But the fact that they found him and they kicked him out, bravo, good for you, because that is what we need to see. There should be no art fair, no convention, no exhibition that hosts AI art among human artists. Now, if y'all want to have your own little AI art convention or whatever somewhere else, cool, I guess. We're not going to support that. But don't bring that to a human space. For me to even say that sounds wild. It sounds like I'm in a sci-fi movie. Don't bring that to a human space. Like, that's a crazy line to say. But we have to talk like that now. We have to talk like that now. It's gotten to a point where it's being casually used. We've seen commercials. Coca-Cola had that polar bear commercial that looked really scary. That Christmas, remember that Christmas commercial? I think it was like 2-3 years ago. That thing looked nasty. There's places locally, you'll see signs. I haven't seen anything here specifically. Matter of fact, no, I'm lying. I have seen AI advertising in the subway. I have. Skechers was using AI. And then there's some other company using it as well. There was also like this big mural in some other town. And I wish I had it pulled up right here in front of my face. I don't feel like looking for it because I'm lazy right now. But there is a mural somewhere that the locals are trying to get taken down because it's an AI generated piece. It's like some sort of mural or a poster that was put up, big thing on a big ass building. And I'm like, damn, that's crazy. It's getting into the real world now. When it was just digital, it was like, okay, fine, we're not going to, like, it's so funny to me because 5 years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and y'all can see the episode right here on the channel, I was talking with Allison, and we were like, oh, AI is just a fad, it ain't going to do nothing, ha ha ha, whatever, you know, because everybody was using it, and it was just stupid, it was like a dumb thing, we didn't know the implications of it at the time. We're like, oh, it's not going to do nothing, it's just going to be online, it's going to fade out. And now look at it. When it was online, it was quote unquote fine because it was like, all right, the internet is big, but it's not real world big. But now we're in the real world. You know, the Digimon have come to the real world. It's like the movie. They're outside. Now it's about to be like that Tron movie, the new Tron movie, Ares, which, side note, I'm going to say this real quick. I'm really upset, and I've said this probably 2 or 3 times on my live streams. I'm really upset that Lashana Lynch is not the lead because I thought she was. When they announced it, when they showed her, I was like, oh, shoot, we about to have a black woman as the lead in a Tron movie? Dope. Nah, it's Jared Leto. And the craziest thing about it all is that I haven't seen her in any other promotional material. The trailer, the official trailer, the little snippets and sneak peeks, where is she at? Why did you announce her casting if you're not even going to show her? Like, damn, son. Like, that's crazy. But yeah, the fact that we're seeing it in the real world signifies that it's advancing, and we really need to find ways or organize, rather. We need to organize to really combat this and not just being online talking about, oh, it's slop, oh, they don't got no talent. Like, it's got to be more than that, y'all. And that's where the white liberal shit comes from. That's where I be talking about. It's like they will get online and they'll be like, AI slop. Oh my God, it's so stupid. And they'll block and ban everybody that promotes it. And it's like, that's not really doing anything, because they're still going to do what they're going to do, and they're still going to talk about it, and they're going to try to convert more people to their side. Right. So we have to create a coalition, some form of organization, and take this to some sort of government official, some sort of legislation, to really say, hey, this is not a great idea. This is what is affecting this particular industry. This is what is affecting the environment, et cetera, et cetera. The only reason I feel things aren't happening right now is because everybody's disorganized and everybody's just kind of scattered, just rambling off and on in different areas, and not being hyper focused on the real issues, right? Because again, saying something, getting online and be like, oh, it's slop. Look at this slop. La, 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 la. It's so stupid. Oh, people that do this, blah, blah, blah. Like, don't get me wrong. I've said my fair share of things too, but I'm also trying to figure out what we can do to make the next step. Some actionable items. Because otherwise, it's going to keep progressing, and we're going to have more music artists like Zania Monet getting multi-million-dollar deals. How does that feel to see a fake thing get a record deal before you, a human? I don't know if y'all heard about this, but there's a new AI artist on the scene. Her name is Zania Monet, and she was created by lyricist Talisha Jones. I'm reading this off of Consequence Sound. There's an article on Consequence Sound right now that I'm looking at, and I didn't know too much about it, so I'm reading up on it in real time with y'all, because I saw it briefly on Threads. I was like, oh boy, here we go. I didn't know how deep this was. So it looks to be that the person who created this character, this entity, this AI generated thing, is a lyricist. She writes her own music. She writes everything herself. However, instead of hiring a human artist to work with, which is generally what people have done in the past, right? Instead of doing that, she goes to Suno. Suno is a music app, you know, the one that I talked about in a previous Habbo Speaks video where Timbaland was promoting it. He became the ambassador of the whole thing. Suno is a music app. You just type in a prompt and you get some music or whatever out of it. And you can basically generate anything you want, any kind of genre. You can make your own new genres or whatever. It's wild. And there's been a whole controversy about this because it pulls from so many people's work. And I guess there's also like that conversation of like sampling in there too, right? But the fact that this is doing something so grossly unethical and illegal that we can't even have that conversation because we're past that now. We're way past that. So Talisha Jones, she makes this character, and it's supposed to sound like Beyonce. It's supposed to sound a little bit like Alicia Keys. There's like this whole, I haven't listened to any of it because I'm not going to give her the view. But apparently it's so good that now she has gotten a $3 million deal from Hollywood Media to create and promote this artist, to continue promoting this artist, to continue putting out work and music from this artist, which is wild. This is a digital creation. This is not a human being singing. This is not a real black woman singing. Everybody was like, oh, but a black person created the character. It doesn't matter if the person was black or not. It's still wrong. It's still fucked up. This video is brought to you by the generous contributions of viewers like you. Head over to patreon.com/habtunes for more details and consider joining today for just $1 a month. Talisha could have gone to an actual real recording artist and said, hey, I can't sing. I can't sing worth a lick. I've tried going to a music coach. It just doesn't work. So I'm coming to you because I have some really powerful lyrics, things that I'm passionate about, things that I want to talk about and spread and share to the world, and I believe you can be that voice for me. She could have did that. She could have went to somebody and did that. Again, it's harder. It's a little bit more tedious, but in the long run, on the ethical side and just artistically, it's worth it. Anybody that jumps to AI is not a real artist. You were never passionate about this to begin with. I'm not going to sit here and say that everybody has to struggle and do all these different things to jump through hoops. Because I know recently Amy Poehler, there was a statement, Amy Poehler from Parks and Recreation, y'all remember her, and she was SNL star from back in the day. She said she was surprised to hear that so many young actors, she was surprised that so many young actors were taking sick days, because she said she never took a sick day. I think that's crazy. I think rest is the most important thing in the process of creating, in the process of being an artist, because if you don't rest, then what happens? You die at the end of it all. You hurt yourself. So I think that's wild. I don't think anybody should suffer and go through hardship for what they have to do. However, I do think the road less traveled brings out a different kind of creation, a different kind of character for you as a person, because you experience something that can actually alter the process of you creating this song or this character or this dress or the performance. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Unit 333 would have ever existed had I not gone through what I gone through with my mental health. Imagine if I just was like, oh, I want to talk about mental health, and I went to the AI and it just spat out some nonsense, and now it's just like, you know what I'm saying? It's not from the heart, it's not from the soul, it's not from that genuine experience of what I had to do. And it wouldn't resonate with people. It's empty calories. It's junk food. Is that what you want to do? You want to create I'm quoting Amanda Seales again. Hot dogs. You want to make hot dog content? You want to make hot dog art? Is that what you really want to do? We're going to forget about you in a few months to a year. That's a possibility of what will happen to anybody. But when it comes to generative AI, look how many things we already moved past already. Look how many memes and trends we already moved past already on the internet alone. It's forgettable. And I think what they're trying to do now is trying to position generative AI, especially when it comes to music, as a way to, they're trying to position it so that it is unforgettable because they're throwing money at it. But that's not going to work, because they tried that already with another artist a few years ago. It was that, I can't remember the name of it, but y'all know the one I'm talking about. It was like this white character with dreads, and he looked like he looked kind of like a cyberpunk version of, oh God, what was that dude? It was that young dude who was in the music video with Kanye West where they had the big block suits, the Minecraft looking suits on. Y'all know who I'm talking about. That light-skinned dude. It looked like him. What happened to him? He gone. He gone. And I think this company is this company is disrespecting Talisha Jones to her face. Off rip, I already think that. Because you already know a lot of these corporate entities don't give a shit about black artists or black people to begin with. They just utilize us and exploit us so that they can get some sort of capital gain from it. I guarantee you it's going to be very likely that they take this Zania Monet creation from her and start doing their own thing without her input. I guarantee you that's something that might happen. I guarantee you that's something that will happen. We have to call it for what it is. This is not advancing. This is not leveling the playing field. This is not getting over on the system. This is part of the system. This is part of their routine. This is part of their design. $3 million. $3 million. There's so many other independent artists I know that could have used that $3 million for actual good. I know somebody off the top of my head right now. Her name is Dinah. Y'all should check her out. Dyna. I'll post her her link in the description. Also, Alicia Renese. She's an amazing songstress. She has a beautiful voice. I talk about Alicia Renese all the time because she's really cool and I love what she does on YouTube. You know? But those are two people right there. Two black women right there. Real, genuine, human, passionate artists. Black women artists right there that could have used that $3 million deal over this thing that thinks it's Beyonce or whatever. Crazy. This is crazy to me. It was a group that came out a few months ago, and I think Anthony Fantano talked about them. It was some band. It tricked everybody that listened to it. It was some new band that came out, and everybody was like vibing with it. It was a lot of people that was vibing with them. They were like, oh my God, this sounds amazing. Da, 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 da. Turns out it was AI. It's called Velvet Sundown. Velvet Sundown. And they had mad views. They had mad listeners on there. But once people figured out, them views, them streams dropped. Because I think they even tried to do like music videos and pictures, and people started to realize like, wait a minute, this dude don't look the same in this picture than he did in that one. Why is this guy got different hair length and this cut? You know what I'm saying? It's like, once people figure it out, it's like, nah, we don't want that. Nobody likes to be tricked. It would have been different. I think it would have been received differently had they say like, oh, hey, this is an AI creation. The fact that Spotify even let it up there in the first place is wild, but we don't even care about Spotify because Spotify's CEO is in bed with AI military technology. So he don't really care anyway. If y'all looking for a different platform that's an alternative to Spotify that pays the artist well and also detects AI and kicks it off the platform, Deezer. Deezer. I'll post a link in the description as well. Because Spotify don't pay nobody. I think who was complaining? I think it was Drake and some other big names. So if the big names are complaining, imagine the indies. There's so many other platforms besides Spotify at this point that we don't need it. We really don't. It's not scary to me, but it's a little concerning that AI has been adopted so quickly. But we know why. It's seen as a moneymaker. I've seen people say, oh, now I don't have to worry about somebody complaining with me or giving me pushback. And it's like, damn, y'all really don't want to, y'all just love the easy road. Like, I get it. Convenience is the name of the game for a lot of things in our lives now, right? We have so much technology that makes a lot of what we used to do so much easier. And I'm happy for some of that stuff. I am. I'm happy that, you know, you can order groceries online and have it delivered to you. That's a great thing for disabled folks that can't walk outside or they don't have the ability to just move around, mobility, you know what I'm saying, mobility issues or whatever. I think that's wonderful. That's a great use of technology. That's a great example of convenience. But this, ChatGPT, Suno, Midjourney, Google VO, all these different things, no. When you use AI, you are saying that You don't believe art is worth it. You don't believe in the passion behind why we create. It's disgusting to see people who are actually artists that will use it in place of hitting up a colleague or a mutual or just hitting their network. There was somebody I used to know. This I wouldn't say she's small, but she's not like a huge DJ, but she's known. She's like an industry, like she's known. And I loved like all that she did. I never got to see her live. Always wanted to. I loved everything she stood for as far as like her political views when it came to the liberation of Black women in this country. I love that she was very passionate about the music that she mixed and even the creations, the original stuff that she made too. She even made she was starting to make this short film series based on like her own trauma and some other things she experienced as a Black woman growing up here in America. The problem with that is that she started to use generative AI to create visual representations of the character. And I think she made I don't know if she made an album cover, but she definitely did visual like designs of the character using ChatGPT. And I was like, what? How can you be this passionate artist, you know what I'm saying? Like living through the struggle, doing all the stuff that you typically do as an artist, being zany and creative and all these different things, and you're using ChatGPT to create a character. I guarantee you she knew at least 5 visual artists, including myself, that could have done something for her. Just some simple concept art or something like that. That's baffling to me. I've seen other folks who use it as they'll use that for album covers. Nicki Minaj, I remember, did something a while back. Alchemist and Erykah Badu recently just made a music video using ChatGPT or one of the AI models. And I'm just like, how can y'all be these down to earth like artist type people? You get what I'm saying? And utilize that nonsense and promote it like it's cool. To me, that says you've lost touch. To me, that says you're outside of this circle, right? You're outside of this community. You've transitioned to a different mindset, a detrimental mindset, a harmful mindset. That signals to me that you've lost the passion. Because imagine if we took Alchemist's beats, we took Erykah's voice, Nicki's raps, and we did the same thing to them. Imagine if I guarantee you somebody was like, oh, somebody took your lines and put it in a song, they would have all the lawyers getting down on them folks with the quickness. So-and-so didn't clear your samples and they used it in their album. They would have hounded on them. They would have got that album taken off the shelves or off the platforms immediately. But you want to use AI to make a music video. Huh? Make that make sense to me, because I don't get that. And I'm not here to shame nobody, but I will call things out the way I see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, you stupid for doing this or you're an idiot. I just feel like you've lost touch or you were never able to imagine in the first place. So I would encourage you, if you are someone that is pro AI, if you are someone that wants to use ChatGPT or wants to use Midjourney, Suno, or all these other things because you don't have the funding, or maybe you don't even care to hire someone, right? You don't want that back and forth. You don't want to have a human conversation, right? I would encourage you to try and learn. Look up some tutorials on YouTube or wherever else and try your hand at something. There's free programs. Blender is free. Autodesk Sketchbook is free. I believe there may be a free beat making program somewhere. I don't know because I'm not on that side. I'm not on that plane of existence yet. I do have my own little keyboard and whatnot that I'm still trying to figure out. But I guarantee you there's some free resources out there. If I find some, I'll make a post about it. But I encourage you to try your hand at something. I would encourage you to do some research into what these AI models and technologies are doing to not only the industry, but the planet itself. I'm not asking you to be a bleeding heart. You know what I'm saying? I'm not asking you to give up all your possessions or whatever. I'm just asking you to do some research. I'm asking you to pick up a pencil. I'm asking you to pick up a guitar. I'm asking you to pick up the needle and thread and try. Just try. And if you can't, if you've tried and you can't do it or you don't like it, then consider looking for an artist. Not everybody is going to be charging you an arm and a leg. There's some people that might do it for free for you. There's some people that might give you a discount. But by any means necessary, we should avoid using generative AI to create artwork. I don't think you're stupid. I'm not going to be one of them people. I don't think you're stupid. I'm not going to sit here and disrespect you. What I will say is you've lost touch. And I would just encourage you just to try. Just try. That's all. I do want to I would love to talk with someone that's pro AI. I would love to have somebody on the program or in a video essay where we just talk about that. I would love, because there's a person that just commented on my threads earlier. I think I made a reference to them already, who is a quote unquote AI engineer and a graphic designer. I would love to talk with somebody like that, who can actually like have a conversation, not somebody that's just like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's some people you just can't talk with. And I can tell that a lot of folks that comment on threads, or at least the ones that are in opposition of the things that I say, 9 times out of 10, they're not on that level. They're not on that artistic or intellectual level to have the conversation. And there's other steps that they need to take to get there. Because I think everybody has the capacity. I think most people have the capacity to understand. It's just a willingness to do so, being open to do so. Because AI is not the answer to Black liberation. AI is not the answer to winning money, getting money. Because if that were the case, then everybody would be billionaires already. It's just another tool to exploit and destroy creativity and community. That's all it is. And don't even get me started on the the minstrelsy of it all, right? There are so many people just like a couple of months ago, that were using these Black characters to promote or not promote anything, but even just do skits, and they were created by white people. And it got to the point where it was like they were just literally just putting gorillas in clothes that you would typically think a Black person would wear. Y'all probably saw them joints on TikTok and Facebook and IG. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm not even going to get into that right now because I don't want these videos to be too long. But I do want to touch on the last thing I want to touch on is this AI. Yo, this AI minister. Yeah. So I think it was yesterday. I think it was literally just yesterday. And like I said, I'm recording this on Friday the 26th. So this was yesterday, the 25th of September. In Albania, Prime Minister Edi Rama, I hope I said his name correctly. Forgive me if I mispronounced it. He introduced a new cabinet member that is completely artificial. Her name is Diela, which means sun in Albanian. Her name is Diela. I'm reading a little bit of this off of the BBC right now, BBC News. And she's supposed to be getting rid of corruption. They claim that she's going to get rid of 100% of the corruption in the country or something like that. And I'm trying to figure out what she's the minister of specifically. I can't see it. But the fact that this is a thing is insane. This is absurdly insane. This is the sort of thing that you would see in a 1970s sci-fi film where an AI is appointed as a government official. How many, I bet you everybody right now that's listening can think of at least one film, TV show, book, comic, or video game where this scenario played out in the worst possible way. An AI as a government official. And they're claiming that she existed before this official appointment. There was like a version of her that was a virtual assistant that helped with like documentation and organizing or something like that. But the fact that there's a whole video where they were throwing garbage at this guy. Like, it's so wild. It's so wild that instead of appointing a human being, they went to the machine. They went to the AI. They went to an AI. Hopefully this is maybe just a stunt. I don't know all the details of it. I'm just now learning about everything. Hopefully this is just a stunt. Maybe it's a political move statement or something like that. But this should not be plausible. This should not be a thing. Because if an AI can become a government official, that means AI can come for every single job. It's not just artists anymore. People didn't care. People didn't care and still don't care that artists are losing out on opportunities in specific areas. But now they're not just going to be making stupid little music videos for Erykah Badu no more. They're now going to be ruling over certain aspects of a country. Are you listening? Are you picking up what's being put down? This is insane. Like, I really hope this is just a publicity stunt and it's just like to make a statement. I really hope this is just something where he wants to create conversation about how stupid and insane and wild this is. I can't find any more words to articulate what I'm trying to say right now. So excuse me for repeating the same words over and over again. However, if this is real, then best believe China is going to be next. Then it's going to be Russia. Then it's going to be America. And we're going to have a big, big problem. There was something I was watching. It was a new cartoon that came out. It was from the guy that made Cowboy Bebop. It was called The Lazarus Project, I believe. Yeah, it was called The Lazarus Project. And there was an episode where they found an AI in charge of a cult. People was worshiping the AI as their leader. And it was a death cult at that too. And the AI's purpose was to have them ascend and destroy. It was something about destroying them, but also destroying something else. But we've seen this time and time again, this story, this narrative of like, oh, I'm going to create this AI. It's going to be a better version of us. It's going to help us out. And then the AI starts to learn and adapt to become sentient. And it's like, oh, the only way I can help y'all out is by destroying y'all. Like, yo, come on, man. Like, I really hope this is just a stunt, man. We have to we have to pay attention. We gotta wake up. There's so many things happening right now, so it's hard to really do that, right? There's things happening in this country. There's things happening overseas. You know what I'm saying? Free Palestine, free the Congo, free all oppressed and impoverished peoples around the world. There's way more things we're aware of now than ever before. So it's hard for me to just sit here and be like, yo, y'all got to pay attention. Y'all got to wake up. It's hard for me to say that because there's so much shit going on. But we do have to be aware. At least be aware. At least be knowledgeable of the things that are going on. If you can't act, just read and research. You get what I'm saying? Just read and research. So I say all this to say, like, if you know someone that is pro AI, try having a conversation with them and explaining to them all the things that are happening, all the things that we talked about, that I talked about here in this episode. Find some articles to show them, and hopefully, you know, we can start to disalign folks with this fake utopian world of AI technology used for just about every single mundane task in the world. That's all I'm asking for. Just try. I know it's frustrating. I know. Look, I have to do these conversations. I have to have these conversations with people I know that are close to me. I have to do that too. There are people in that are close to me that have been tricked or almost tricked if I didn't intervene, them losing their money or buying stupid products. I have to teach them how to recognize an AI voice versus a real human voice. Teach them how to realize the difference between an AI image of someone versus a real image of someone, whether it's a still image or video. It's going to take work, y'all. It's going to take work. There's no part of revolution or anything that we are in opposition of that's going to just be like an easy snap of the finger solution. It's going to take work. It's going to take sacrifice. It's going to take a lot of stressful man hours, human hours. But I think it can be done. I think if we really sit and organize and get together, for lack of a better term, it can happen. But that's all I'm going to say on this right now, because I got places to be. I'm still celebrating my birthday this whole week. So thank you to everyone that has messaged me or hung out with me or gifted me things, all that stuff. And I appreciate you watching this episode as well. If you made it this far, comment below, what is your favorite? Let me think of something. Comment below, who was your most recent listened to artist and why? Okay, who was your most recent listened to artist? I really love Gorillaz, and they just put out some new music the other week. I still need to catch up on the Chance the Rapper album, and I believe Cardi B dropped an album recently too. But yeah, Gorillaz, they're back. I'm hype. Daft Punk is in Fortnite right now, so that's crazy too. But anyway, let me just stop yapping. Thank you for listening. Hope to see you soon in the live streams. And until next time, take care, stay true, stay you. We out. Deuces.